This is why Japanese curry is horrible and why I'll never eat it again after that one time years and years ago. All right, where were we? We were making sweets. They're engraving. Someone's throwing a tantrum. They're sparring. We have rangers that are active. The one dwarf either went up to white or the red guy died and we have another one that's become red. One of these two things has happened. How are you doing? Now, yes, we could probably somewhere set up a shower for dwarves. I wonder how to do this. I have an idea of how to do this. Now that you've mentioned, now that you brought it up, that does sound like a decent idea. I want to see how to do this. All right, build construction wall. My big worry is that one right there, that hole that we made way earlier. So I'm going to cover that with some wood just to make sure that if anything happens, you don't have a dwarf get swept in and die. Terrible space program, but airplanes are so hard. Haha, thank you. Well, see, I find that the trick in Kerbal Space Program for planes is to just take the rocket, make it horizontal and miss the ground. You know, as long as you can consistently and regularly miss the ground in Kerbal Space Program, you'll find that you can fly pretty well. So just do that. Duh. Build machine screw pump from the south. Screw pump from the, why do I not remember how to make you go south? Oh, it's not letting me choose because I don't even have the right parts. JMQ rock pipe section. Does it have to be, can I not do rock? Does it have to be metal or fine? Iron pipe section. Give me an iron pipe section. Why have I never seen you play Kerbal Space Program? Are you talking to me? I've done Kerbal Space Program. Mainly, I only did it once. One, I like Kerbal Space Program. I used to be quite good at it. The one time I tried to do it on stream, though, I looked like a complete idiot. Because the last time I had legit done Kerbal Space Program, even in its campaign mode, we'll say, you did not necessarily have to upgrade certain structures to do functionality in the game. So in the stream I had done of it, I could not figure out why I could not plot a point in space to adjust the trajectory to see how much I needed to accelerate, and I had to do most of it by eye. Which of course, anyone who's played it after that update went live just knows on the regular, you have to upgrade the one radio building and you're good. I did not know that, and the people who are watching me either did not know it or also did not know why it wasn't working on me. So I do play it. I have played it. It's been a long time since I played it, and I have streamed it. And the one time I streamed it, I looked like a moron. Career mode only mode. Like I said, way back when, you didn't even really have career mode. Like, you had career mode, but not really. It's kind of a problem with getting a lot of these games when they first come out is a lot of them either get a surge of attention years later, or they kind of half maintain attention, but their, we'll say, audience changes over the years. So when something kind of becomes, hold on, build construction floor. When something kind of comes up in the conversation again, even though you were really good at it way back when, you try to do it again, you're just like, I have no clue what is going on. What is any of this? Why do they change my baby? Kerbal Space Program has always been niche. That was like 0.25. Well, that's what I'm saying. I remember doing career mode before, but about to sneeze, I apologize. You didn't have to build that building or upgrade it so that you could plot where you're going with your rocket, if that made sense. So I don't know what version it was where that building became mandatory, or if it was a setting that was defaulted off and I never turned it on, but I was not used to the idea that I needed that building. But it kind of ends up working against you, is what I'm trying to say, is if you've done games like that before they did a major change and you weren't aware of the change. Because if you didn't know that that feature existed, you wouldn't waste time looking for it. You would look at the buildings, go, oh, look at this building. What does it do? Oh, this building does X. Fantastic. I think I'll do X if I want to do Y. Whereas if you're used to playing a game where you could just do whatever X was, you're not necessarily going to think to double back and be like, why can't I now do X? What building is required to do X? Where before you got used to the idea that you could just always do X. Looking like an idiot in Kerbal Space Program is standard. I look like an idiot trying to do realism mods. I can see it. No, there's a one of the viewers who's on occasionally, Ginger Sarge and I used to be in the military together, and we used to play Kerbal Space Program together. He would get aggressive when we did the game because I would always land the most bullshit nonsense, and he would have issues obtaining orbit. I'm not saying I'm better at the game than him. What I am saying is everyone is better at the game than him. So letting that challenge go uncontested. But no, yeah, I used to be quite good at it. I could probably be quite good at it again, because I think while I was streaming it / I've, you know, in previous conversations before, rockets and missiles are the same thing. No, missile is tracking. Shh. Not what I mean. Don't go into actual military nomenclature. Shh. Quiet. We know you're smart. Don't correct me. Rockets in the such in Kerbal Space Program are the same as doing missiles in Patriot, calculating missiles. It's all just about flight patterns. It's not like a lot of the words people get caught up on, but when you get the idea of it, it's really not that hard. The real thing that throws everyone off that I think needs to be taught in school and or earlier in school than I think they teach in American schools is the idea of delta. This is why the hell do we have English forever with vocabulary words, but we never have like majorly core mathematical vocabulary words in math classes, at least not when I went through school. Delta is a very important word that everyone should just know. Delta should be brought up, even if you're not addressing what a derivative is. It should be brought up early enough so that people understand the concept of what it is. That it is a change. It is a change, or it can be a rate of change if you're talking about derivatives. I don't know why this is like, maybe it's just an American education thing, but I swear to God, it's not brought up anywhere near as much as it should be. It's hardly brought up until you get to like college for some reason. But that's what confuses a lot of people, is just acceleration and changes in acceleration. That's it. That's all Kerbal Space Program is. That's all it is just calculating accelerations. Oh, you have friction. You have aeronability? The ability to fly. It's not aeronautical. It is aerodynamics. You have these things like, oh, that adds to it, and realism brings that more to the fore. But really kind of no. For as much as a lot of those things are, because a lot of it you can't, like, especially if you're not doing career mode, you don't have to worry about the money of it. You can gloss over a lot of the math in that game if you don't have to pay attention to the money. The career mode makes you have to pay attention to the money, so this becomes more of a non-point. The more realism mods and stuff you do, and the further into career mode, you're dependent upon the cash flow. But in terms of just doing the game and the science behind it, if you could ignore the fact of what you have to do, you can trial by error your way through it. Like, you should be able to teach yourself what is going on in that game. It is a good educational game, or it can be. I just think it needs to be addressed as such. Missiles are just rockets that hit something. Rockets are big missiles with more useful than an explosive payload. They never really learned delta outside geography and brushed on in algebra. 2 reference points and the change, the 3 sides to a delta. That one's more of a geographical thing. I'm talking about like the differences. Delta V, the change in V. How much velocity can this give me in different situations for that particular reference? But just the concept of I am at X, I need to get to Y. At least in American classes, and they've made this so much worse with Common Core. Where's my pen? There it is, excuse me. They've made this so much worse in Common Core, is they'll routinely be like, okay, I am at 120, or I'm at 120, and I need to subtract 60. What is my answer? And you try to like get to what the end of the solution is. Whereas I don't think there's enough of a focus on this is where I am, this is the answer I need, how do I get to that? And it's kind of the same thing with similar, not completely unrelated thing with the coronavirus. You keep seeing the news talk about the biggest numbers we've ever seen. Everyone's dying. The world is going to hell. Who could have seen this coming? Oh, what do you do? And then they keep coming up with new things to address the numbers as they're released to fix them. And then like a week later, they'll be like, that didn't work. We need a new thing. There's a 2-week time delay to Corona. 2 weeks. Any number you see now is in fact a result of what happened in Corona 2 weeks ago. So the only thing you can really do is track the change per day in time and try to predict 2 weeks in the future. The better you are predicting 2 weeks in the future of what's happening with the virus, use that number to make news about today. But every time you turn on the news, you're just like, this is what happened today. No, that is not what happened today. That is what happened 2 weeks ago. That is what happened 2 weeks ago. There's a 2-week delay. I've said this to all my friends, I've said this to all my family, and I've been proved right more often than not, particularly in this regard. Those numbers are wrong. That is not the number to pay attention to. Everyone's always like the end goal. Never pay attention to the end goal. We know what the end goal is. Figure out how to get to the end goal. We need more delta math in mathematics. We need more derivatives. I say this having had issues in calculus because I could not figure out the simplest problems. I can do all the high ones, but all the simple ones fucking... I overthought the hell out of them. I acknowledge this. So I'm not talking about like all the math that's involved with it, but just like the concept of if I am going up here, what is the rate of change and or the rate of that? Not even like to the 2nd degree or the 3rd degree, whatever. Just the idea that there is a rate of change that is a thing that can be tracked. I think needs to be done more. Spanish flu, 4 weeks because 2 weeks is only today, which is nearly worthless. Well, the further you have to predict out, I'm not saying to do anything, but the news stations are always saying today, which is 2 weeks ago. If they could at the very least have a thing for 2 weeks from now, they could actually say what they think they're saying, which is what's happening today, if that makes sense. Not even what the scientists need to do. I'm not correcting any of the scientists. I'm not calling them out. They know what they're doing, I believe. But all the news agencies are always just reporting on the numbers they have right now. And it's never any sort of predictive math. The forgotten beast, Dorku, has come. A huge, 3-eyed frog. It has a short trunk and it is slavering. Its eyes glow azure. Its teal skin is waxy. Beware its poisonous bite. Like, the news stations genuinely piss me off about anything they say with the corona. Anytime I hear them, it's like, oh, this is all the people that got that reported sick today. This is how many positive cases we had today alone. Well, I mean, no, not really. That's how many positive cases we had 2 weeks ago. That's how many have tested positive today. These are the numbers from 2 weeks ago. And this entire time, I've not seen one news station address the fact of this is old information. This is what we predict, like the proper number is. Or the closest they come to is like, well, we got a new curve from the scientists and they say in 2 weeks, 5 billion jajillion people will be dead and living underground with the moles. Like they'll come up with some crazy thing that's like, this is a predictive thing of what the virus could do in total, not even like per region or rate of growth or anything. They kind of got close when they all started parroting flatten the curve. They kind of got close to the idea of we need to be low now, because really if we lower it now, we're gonna have lower reports later. And they started to have that idea. And then in the 2 weeks for America, at the very least, attention span to waver on flatten the curve, they gave up on talking about that, the math behind that at all. So who cares? Yeah, infections 2 weeks ago, actually sick today. Slap that curve. Don't pinch and twist. Slap that curve. But it became like this big thing across all the news stations for about 2 weeks. For about 2 weeks, they talked about flatten the curve. Maybe some of them did 3, but they really addressed it for 2 weeks. When it took exactly 2 weeks for any results to come out from flattening the curve. And it started to go down around before June? Was it May? It started to go down again. And then a bunch of news stations were like, holy shit, we did it. We have succeeded. We have beaten the Rona. Huzzah. And they basically were like, all right, everyone can calm down now. We beat it. We flattened the curve, thinking that it was one tiny curve. So what did everyone do? They went out and celebrated. You know what I'm saying? Like they all were like, oh, good, we beat the curve. Woo, we beat it. Woo. And then what was 2 weeks later? The numbers were really high again. Who could have figured that out? Jesus Christ. For the curve thing to have worked, they had to have kept reporting on it for like 3 more weeks. That's how that would have worked. Reporting on it for 3 weeks total means you've just now barely started to get the numbers of what you're doing with the curve. And they quit. They fucking quit. The frog is not going to die. Unfortunately, the frog is in a cavern that I've seen, but I do not currently have access to. I don't even see it on the map anymore, as a matter of fact. I have popped into quite a few cavern layers, but the problem is that even though they're relatively flat, most of these cavern layers are obnoxious. They are all across 4 or 5 Z levels, and they're all extraordinarily open, which is the worst type of cavern, in my opinion, to deal with, is caverns that are exceptionally cavernous. If the caverns were small and twisting, they would be easier for me to adapt to and fix. For instance, the cavern down by the magma, I think it was a cavern by the magma. One of these caverns I did work with a little bit, or was that a different base entirely? That might have been a different base entirely. I thought it was the one with the magma. It was. This particular cavern was only across 1 Z level, so I was able to secure us an area. You notice I walled this off because up above there was a roof. That I can deal with. Some of these caverns are like 5, 6 Z levels deep. I'm not dealing with that, especially not in time for a monster to not come kill me. Now, I'm not saying I won't open the doors and try to go out and conquer more, but right now I barely even have an equipped army, so no. What is this down here, by the way? Why are we just dumping socks down here? Is there a reason why we're dumping socks in the bar block stockpile? Why are we dumping socks in the bar block stockpile? I don't know. However, I do want to create a dump for them. So I'm going to dig out a 3x3 right here. No, a 3x4. And I'll create a 3x3 bridge there with a ramp down if necessary. That can be where we dump things. Curves only happen once, obviously. Graphs curve once, either up or down, then it's all good. Undulations are fake news. There can be no wavelengths, only one curve 6 feet apart. A sneeze can travel 28 feet, 6 foot is plenty. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know why an information will be put out. And again, I'm not arguing with the scientists. I'm just arguing with how the news reports what the scientists say. The scientists will put out like a bit of information, and the news will get the gist of it, or the gist of it, not just the gist of it, and then they'll report it as if what they are reporting is like the exact way it's to be understood, and not just like a weird summation. The problem with it is, by reporting it the way they keep reporting it, a lot of people keep following it like it's gospel. The 6 feet thing, if I am animated enough while talking to you, I can ping you with spit from my mouth from 6 feet away. Not I will spit at you, but if I'm that animated, I can have a globule go that far. A full formed spittle from my lip. 6 feet. Everyone acts like 6 feet is this mystical wall. Once you hit 6 feet, no germ can live. No spit can survive past 6 feet. No, it's just if you stay about 6 feet away, then probably you have better than a 50-50 of anything coming out being dispersed enough to not directly tag you. It's not even supposed to be a you sit around them for 6 feet for a prolonged period of time. 6 feet's a good distance. Further is better, but also probably kind of too much effort to get things done. 6 feet is a good balance. You go into a store or whatever, and they're all like, stay 6 feet away from me or I will slaughter you. How dare you come within 5'11" of me? Don't you know you are now finally inside the disease radius? Whereas before, we were all safe to live our lives. Now that you've come 1 inch closer than 6 feet, you have killed me. No, no. It's not like this magical fucking barrier. That's not what they're talking about. But everyone freaks out about it. I have a neighbor. Bless her heart. She's careful. All for that. I kind of want to have an argument with her though. I've seen her a couple times in the hall. She is elderly. I understand her purposes for wanting to be safe. She is elderly, but she has taken what the news has said at like gospel. So if you open the door to my apartment and she's at the mails inside the front door, that is within 6 feet. The front door is within 6 feet of the mailboxes. If you open the front door and you don't like look through the glass door to see if she's in there, if you open the front door and you step in and then see her, in the amount of time it will take you to say, I'm sorry, and back up, she'll already be turned around and be like, 6 feet. Like she's gonna fucking telekinetically shove you back. She's like, 6 feet. 6 feet. It's like, one, I just entered. I have not yet killed you. I'm already stepping back. Calm down. And then she'll like I'm worried she's gonna have a heart attack is like really my big worry about this. Is I'm worried she's gonna freak out so much because someone got within 5'11" of her. Like I'm not on her. It's not like it's the door and the things. It's like 4 or 5 feet away. Don't get me wrong. Like it's not right next to the doors. She's gonna have a heart attack. She's going to have a heart attack with how much she freaks out as soon as you like are within 6 feet of her. And it's like, look, ma'am, look, I'm already leaving. I'm sorry. You had to stay 6 feet away. Stay 6. I'm going. I would be gone already if you stopped screaming at me. Yeah, like I said, there is a thing there. I'm not disagreeing with the principle. Just everyone who seems to think like there's this magical barrier at 6 feet. Like you just scream the word 6 feet, the disease will die in your presence. It's like, no, that's not how any of this works. A lot of the houses that where disease spread in New York is because they all shared a centralized air system. So someone was sick in one apartment and it went through the air system and got other nearby things sick. And then from there, they spread to nearby and got sick. These people weren't even in the same room and the disease spread. Like, I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to get sick further than 6 feet, but it's like a function of time and distance. 6 feet is not a magical barrier. Especially when people wear masks wrong. Corona basically uses D&D 5-foot rules. That's why you should always bonus action disengage. Yes. I'm not saying to stop it, but to minimize what your system takes and lower the risk. Yeah. Again, if everyone would understand that it's lowering the risk, I feel like things would be a lot easier. But a bunch of people have just taken to like recounting 6 feet from the news as if this is some mystical chant / number that as long as you keep it in your heart, you can't die. And that's not how this works. Like I'm genuinely wondering if at some point someone has like died to the virus going, but I stayed 6 feet away. You can get sick further than 6 feet. Like you can. But a lot of these people are getting worked up and it's like, you're gonna die to a heart attack. I swear to God. Sorry, my dong isn't that long, lady. Okay, Arthur, just make sure you weren't being a media worship. I hope those guys go to Candyland next to the hidden fun stuff. Nope. Haven't really watched news for the last couple of months. I haven't watched news in years. I even know a scientist who's so hard up on media worship babble. Like I said, it's based, and this happens quite a few times too. This isn't just Corona. This happens quite a few times too, where the news will say scientists have found XYZ. Scientists report they finally rid the world of cancer, and then you see like any of the scientists on the project, and they're like, "What do we do?" No, that's not what we said. It's like, Jesus. I'm almost like genuinely half nervous to go up and like get my mail for fear one of my neighbors will just have a heart attack seeing my presence. Then I'll be like, "Oh, you murdered her because you're within 6 feet." Chocolate linked to weight loss. That was a hoax and it was beautiful. There's a store near me. I had a disagreement with them, let's say. And let me load this up on Paint real quick. I want to show you guys the angles I'm talking about real quick. I'm sorry to distract from the Dwarf Fortress. Give me a quick second. I'll do this fast. All right, you have the conveyor belt, right? You have the conveyor belt. You have the cashier. Hello, sir. Please give me your money. Then stop talking to me. I don't know why I'm here. In front of the cashier, they have it's not this thick, but they have a little plastic barrier so that you cannot project disease onto the cashier. Fine. I'm not disagreeing with the piece of plastic. However, two things that I was like, this plastic is bad. One, you have the little numpad to the right of the plastic. Now, yes, you're probably just be standing behind the edge of where the plastic is. This isn't completely drawn correctly. You're probably standing behind the edge of the plastic, but there's a good chance you're not. I'm left-handed. So I'm going to be using my left hand on this pad, meaning I'm standing over here at an angle, bypassing the plastic. I have an angle on you if I'm spreading the virus. Now, you have the conveyor belt that goes all the way down. The plastic stops like right in front of the cashier. So if you're waiting like 2 cart lengths behind the person, you're over here. You have an angle on the cashier. The one position you are not going to be in when dealing with this cashier is right here behind the piece of plastic. The one angle that this piece of plastic protect in this store near me is the one angle no one stands in. They literally have a piece of plastic that covers where the cart is between people. We're preventing us from catching the disease from the cart. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, this is for my safety and yours. Really? Because no one stands there. Did nobody look at the geometry of this? You can just see it for all the aisles too. So by the way, there's a piece, I'm not bringing up the paint again, but there's a piece of plastic. Let's say someone's sick and they sneeze. It's still aerosolized, so it hits the plastic right in front of them and goes backwards. What's behind them? The customer for the aisle behind them who doesn't have a plastic in the rear. So you're really just stabbing all the customers in the back with the other aisle's diseases. This plastic is worse than useless. It would actively spread it to unsuspecting people who are having to sneak by. Or worse yet, at that one position is where the cart is. So you're rebounding the sneeze particles onto their fucking food. I tried bringing this up and people thought I was crazy. Mind you, I didn't do it as animated as I am now. Before some of you were like, if you started screaming like that to me, I'd think you're crazy too. No, I brought it up, but it's like, what is the point of this plastic? This does not help anyone. Not that plastic and walls don't help people. This arrangement of the wall is not helping anyone. It's really poorly done. You're a terrible artist, freaking lefties, you damn lefties. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this should be extended. I'm like, you realize there's a not zero population that is not standing in the correct aisle for this plastic on this side. And like I said, the whole back side is completely open. The cashier can reach around the plastic. That's how like close it is to the cashier. Is if I can reach around you, that means that there's a pretty good angle that I could just sneeze at you. Okay, now how do the TSA is just... Now, I mean, yeah, that's true. any security system is just security theater. There's no such thing as a proper security system. You know why? There's safety. There's not a, other than maybe like in, ooh, who is it? Salford Sal. Sal, I don't have a quick button for you, but thank you so much for the raid. Jesus, we're already getting followed and everything. Salford. Hold on. Let me give you a shout out.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Coca-Cola was on it. Hello, Salford. Salford is a Dwarf Fortress streamer who, with Formal Blizzard, and I'm forgetting the British dude's name. I'm so sorry. Have set up a Minecraft server for Dwarf Fortress streamers to play on, so that there is a joint Minecraft content. I think I described this correctly. I have a house on the server, but the last time I played, I was moved. I have moved over to Formal Blizzard's house, where I fell down his hole and died, and then got back safely to the bottom of this hole. And now the last thing I remember is being stuck in a tiny cell because I'm Formal Blizzard's prisoner. I am mostly joking about that. It is a tiny room that I can leave at any time, except for it is at the bottom of a really long pit, and I suck at climbing, so it's not like I can get out without dying. But give her content out. Give her a check out. She's good people. Oh, Cheryl's already following. I don't know. I feel like if I broke into military commander, security wouldn't hesitate to shoot me. They're Minecraft Dwarfin. British dude. Oh my God, yes. You mean the German with the... Is he German? He's very posh. I don't associate German with posh. I associate British with posh. I associate German with efficient. I associate German with rude and efficient. I do not associate Germans with posh accents. Minecraft, British does not equal Europe. I was not saying British equals Europe. I genuinely thought he was from the British Isles. I genuinely thought he was from the British Isles. I have quality content. It's all terrible puns. The Lucera, thank you so much for following. Mir is German, but he has such a posh British accent. Germans are rude. What about the French? No. Let me be clear about this. See, because now you're trying to conflate a whole bunch of stereotypes. I have worked a bit with some Germans. It's not that I'm saying they're rude. It's that what I'm used to, their accent sounds like their vocabulary can only tell you what the fact is. So if you are a failure at life, the way I interpret German accents is they're literally incapable of calling you anything other than a failure at life. Not that they're rude to you. They only ever tell you what is happening, because that is the most efficient way to describe what is happening, even if it's rude to you. French is just rude. Boy, Dwarf works some magical add-on to port into Minecraft. Nudge, nudge, nudge. Does that still work? I actually use that. Wait, not on stream. Years ago, over a decade ago, I think. Years and years ago, I tried using that. It made the stairs look really weird, but I tried to do that to see what my fortress looked like in proper 3D and explore. I thought about doing that at one point, but it seemed like it would take too long to do the porting process within one stream to then also do a tour. So, but I also couldn't seem to figure out how to do it again ever, so I just thought it didn't work anymore. Sacre bleu, I can't believe you done this. No, what is it? It was, I think I even had a joke about that when I was doing a co-op. What is the name of the game? Dragon Age Origins with Alapega. There was a joke at some point. He had said something. It's just the way he said it though is there was some weird fight and my dude had missed the majority of the fight. And the way at the end he said it, though, it just sounded like so snarky. He was just trying to say like I need health because I got hit a lot. But like the way he said it is, I'm going to do a French or try to do a French and it's going to be awful and I apologize in advance. But it was like, I need the health because I did all the fighting. Your guy was not even here. It's like, I'm sorry. Just like the way he said it, the weird uplift just makes French sound even snarkier than I think it's intended to be. Whereas German is just like to the point. This is the word. Divinity Original Sin. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I get all those games confused in their names. Dragon Age Original Divinity Sin. The sequel Electric Boogaloo. No. The French are snarky. But like, even if they're not, the way their words sound. I took 2 years of French, and I don't think I could ever talk to the teacher without sounding snarky. It's just the way the words come out always sounds like when you're trying to make fun of someone, you always say, you don't just say something like, huh. You don't go, oh, look at Einstein. You go, oh, look at Einstein. Like you put an emphasis on it. This emphasis is there in like all French words. So even if they're not trying to be snarky, they're being snarky. Whereas German, I don't know, there's just a sense of truth to it. Whatever they say, it's just like, I guess that's true. Did you hear the way he said it with the emphasis and it's just, that must be it. That like there is no lilting thing to draw other inferences from. It just, this is the word. This word is truth. You are failure. Germans just yell at everything. That's where we get old man yells at clowns. Just wants to build a wall around the webcam image. What? Don't wall me in. I don't want to be walled in. But hello, Salford. How are you doing? We are doing historical castle designs. I am designing in Dwarf Fortress a Mott and Bailey castle with a few tweaks to make it work in a Dwarf Fortress system, but I'm doing an old classical castle design. The lower right section is the Bailey, the upper left is the Mott. We are currently turning stones into blocks so that we can start converting things up here. It's a flat map. It's a flat and short map. We have like 30 Z levels before we hit the lava layer. So we're needing to make our own hill because a Mott is on a hill overlooking the Bailey. So that's what we're having to work with. We're currently going to be doing this in diorite blocks. I'm going to be building ramps on where the old wall was, and then I'll have to slowly remove some of the floor to replace that with wall going up. We're going to be doing this for a couple of Z levels. We've already done 2. I intend to do at minimum 3 more. I wanted 5 Z levels just so it was a significant elevation distance. And then from the top of that, we'll probably have the castle again itself going up quite a few Z levels. But that one won't have to deal with this weird ramping system. But yeah, no, I even for an American, like if you want to give me the handicap of for an American, or if you want to not extend such handicap, I know the difference between Europe. I want to make sure I say this in the right order. I understand the difference between Europe, the UK, Great Britain, and England. I know the difference between those terms. I know what I'm referencing when I say those things. Partly because of Crusader Kings, a great, fantastic game. If you wish to learn geography, learn Crusader Kings. Nice. I'm good. I've been farming bees. Yes, I saw that there were, when I went through Formal Blizzard's base, I saw that he had bee hives set up and it looked like he was cooking them or something. When I last played Dwarf Fortress, there were no bees, so I don't know what that is or how to deal with it. The bees that I had to deal with were in a mod, and I think the mod worked differently than how those bees are because they didn't look quite right to me. I didn't mess with anything at his base. I literally, it was at the end of one of my streams. I got to his base barely and then logged out while imprisoned at the bottom of one of his tunnels. So I don't even know what the purpose is of the bees. Like, what do you get out of those bees? You're able to come on Dwarf. You should choose. Wait, what? Who are you talking to? But yes, he's not wrong. I just don't know who he's addressing. I feel like someone asked a question I'm not seeing. But if any of you wish to become a dwarf so that we can, you know, blame your foibles and follies on you, type in !dwarf DWARF or !dwarf DORF, and the same script in the future, well, now, but can be used to tell if you're alive or not, even if I'm not doing Dwarf Fortress. It'll keep track of the status of your dwarves, so at any point in time you can dip on back and be like, hey, am I alive or not? I don't think I have it working right now when I'm not live, but it will work across games. I still have a few more tweaks I need to do to the script, but for now, I feel like it's pretty in depth. All right, Lazy Lone Lion, have a good evening. Artham getting Dwarf 23. This is one of the few things I do need to get on is for it to name the dwarves itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 1, 2, 3. Artham, you are damn near a legendary blacksmith. Any of the blacksmithing relating jobs, we call them dire builders in our forts. So you are a dire builder, Artham. We'll get you in. Dwarf number 3 for Scootsor. How have you been? I haven't seen you in a while, Scootsor. 1, 2, 3. Scootsor, unfortunately, you were just a hauler, though you do have some skill in dressing wounds. So if we just have too many nurses, if we end up with some of our nurses dying, you'll probably be re-recruited back into the doctors to be a medical dwarf. And then Salford Sal got 38. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 8. Salford Sal, you are a builder dwarf, or a mason as regular people call them. Give me a bit and I'll have your descriptions and your relationships. Thank you all so much for deciding to be recognized in the Great Mountain Home. I lost frames totally. Who? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 20? Yeah, that's how you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. It's the easiest thing is to count in like groups of 5. And then you got to make sure that you're devising the tens correctly so you know where you are. So 5, 5, 5, 5, but every 5, just like a ruler. It goes small, big, small 1, small, big, small 2. I think it makes sense. You'd have to pay for it in channel points. Only military is available at the moment. Yes. The specific job thing, I do not have working right now, and I will get to your descriptions. I do not have working right now because I tried floating it, and it's too easy to game it. Let's say. Essentially, if I put it into where everyone is a hauler and they can request what job they wanted, then everyone would be the same job and no one would want to be doing certain jobs. Or conversely, people would just not request anything at all, knowing that at some point, if I wanted the job to get done, I'd have to recruit someone into that job so they got the job for free. And I can't say, oh, I'm going to make you a miner and then deduct the points without your will. That's called stealing. So I'm not doing that. So right now you get the job of whatever the random number generator ends up giving you for a dwarf. That is what your job is. However, if you wish to also then be recruited into the military, that you can do. If you look in the point system, though, you can request whatever you want for other things. Furniture, a suite, statues, so on and so forth. The people who got dwarfed. I know Salford Sal was the latest one. Before that was... Work with me. Scootsor, and before that was Artham. So Artham. Hold on, I'm sorry. I had my door open. I don't think I took my sneezy pills. Sinuses? Allergies, that's the word. Artham, sneezy pills. Artham, you have made in your short time in the base 4 friends. Scootsor, Lady Lone Lion, and Raina Fox. There's an unknown dwarf, we don't talk about them. Of them, Lady Lone Lion is a kindred spirit. You spend your days praying to Austri, a male human associated with gambling, games, and luck. Are you sure you're a dwarf? Artham recently thought I could do without all those creatures in that tangled greenery because they felt wonder when communing with Austri. Artham is quite durable, but she is very slow to heal. Artham likes stoneware, rose gold, cat's eye, the color lemon, hatch covers flasks, the words of the tulip of bribes, and the sound of the tenebrous bride intricacies. When possible, she prefers to consume giant saltwater crocodile, brook lamprey, yak cheese, canoa beer, and longland flour, though she absolutely detests cave spiders. She has an amazing memory and a way with words, but she has questionable spatial sense, poor focus, a large deficit of willpower, and very bad intuition. Overcoming all these, she dreams of mastering a skill someday. I am a wonder of health today. After Artham was Scootsor. If I can ever remember to spell your name correctly. Scootsor. Scootsor is new to the base, having no extended family, but he has made friends with a lot of dwarves. Unfortunately for Scootsor, the only few dwarves we care about are Artham and Earman 1, though Scootsor also prays to Austri. Scootsor recently thought I could use a drink because he didn't feel anything after having a lack of decent meals. Scootsor is very strong, slow to tire, and quick to heal. Scootsor likes malachite, bronze, red diamond, green glass, peregrine falcon leather, the color red, mesas, shields, thrones, scepters, ballista parts, chickens for their scratching, giant moles for their noses, and the sound of the meandering wisp. When possible, he prefers to consume gray squirrel, radish plants, and rye beer. Why not red squirrel? He absolutely detests fire snakes. He has a great kinesthetic sense, but he has an iffy memory, poor empathy, an iffy sense for music, and very bad analytical abilities, though he dreams of raising a family someday. Use base 16, you pleb. I'm gonna do this binary style if you want to. I'll start going down and be like 1, 10, 11, 100, 101, 110, 111. Joke's on you, I kept skipping numbers. That was in base 2. Idiot. No, yes, I put out on the request things that it's really easy, that it's easier on me if you put in what you want and where you want it. Just requesting a random bit of furniture, I can make it. Doesn't mean I have no clue where you want me to put it. So there is that request. I cannot fulfill requests if you don't completely fill out the request form. Or saying you want something upstairs and I don't know what you want to put there. It's kind of useful if I have both bits of information. Selford, the Builder Dwarf. Selford was created just for this base and as such has no extended family, has not been here long enough to make any friends. Everyone's a passing acquaintance or worse, and Salford gets through their days by praying to Kadol, a male dwarf associated with trade and wealth. Salford Sal recently thought, I feel so good, because they were very drunk. Salford is indefatigable and rarely sick, but is clumsy and flimsy. Salford Sal likes dolomite, bismuth bronze, levin opal, blood thornwood, gem spears, catapult parts, rattlesnake men for their warning rattle, the sight of the luxury of music, and when possible he prefers to consume kakapo, salmon, durian wine, and soft wheat flour, though he absolutely detests cave spiders. He has a great sense of empathy, a sum of patience, a good kinesthetic sense, and an ability to focus, but he has an iffy sense for music, a questionable spatial sense, and really bad memory. He dreams of raising a family someday. Welcome to stream, Sue Loic. Sue. I want Saruman's staff. Scooter could use a drink. Iffy memory, that's me. Dwarf for Oren TJ. Read it, base 7. Oh, you prick. All right, 33. 33 in base 7. You want me to do this? I'm gonna do this. 33. I gotta write this down. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. That should be 33 if I've done it right. And for your horribleness, you're a hunter, and I hope you deal, Orange TJ. Your guy is supposed to be a hunter. I don't know why it's not turned on. I'm gonna reset your thing so that you're listed as a hunter, because you are a hunter. Oh, you have skill in trapping. I was off by an entire grid square. Well, you are already a hunter then, Orange TJ. How was I? I said what, 40, 44, 45? 28, 45, 28, 5, 33. 45 is correct. Hell yeah. That one actually took me a second. All right, Orange TJ. And if that is your real color, Orange TJ was made just for this base and hasn't been here long enough to make any friends. Everyone is a passing acquaintance or worse, and Orange TJ prays to Kadol, a male dwarf associated with trade and wealth. Orange TJ recently thought, I'm not going to change my mind, because he was worried about being unable to acquire something for too long. Orange TJ is tough and likes limonite, bismuth bronze, black opal, snail leather, muscle shell, the color rust, bolts, sheep for their tendency to flock, walrus men for their whiskers, and the sight of the wispy wonders. When possible, we first consume giant magpie, clownfish, and mead, though he absolutely detests moon snails. He has a great affinity for language, great analytical abilities, and willpower, but he has quite poor focus and little patience. He dreams of raising a family someday. Why didn't I get the it says you subscribed, but I did not hear the alert. Did I? I don't know what happened with your sub. Barbaderp. Oh, you've been gone for a while. Yeah, I heard no alerts. I wonder why. I'm not seeing it in my activity feed yet. Let me get Barbaderp in. I like it when everyone wants to get in. It means that there's more people to laugh at when things go wrong. I mean, what? Dwarf 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is happening here? A mood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 21. Barbaderp, you are a miner, because of course you are. You love mining. You're the most happy dwarf to ever exist, and mining is your favoriteest thing to do forever. Let it be known how happy Barbaderp is with mining. Let me do a reload on the activity feed. Might just be having an issue with connections to Twitch today, because I had an issue earlier even getting it to connect and pop in, so I don't know what's going on with it. It should do it. The problem is it's not even in the system, so if it's not in the system, I can't click the button to force it to do it. So it's gonna have to be a little bit until whatever's going on with the system sorts itself. Barbaderp. Jesus Christ, Barbaderp has an extended family. He has an eldest son and eldest daughter, plus younger ones. His mother and father are still alive, as are possibly his grandparents, who really knows. He has an extended family. He is 1 out of 7 siblings. He also has, God, he has a lot of half siblings too. What is going on in your family? Barbaderp, you are related to a legendary farmer. Any name dwarf. Suloic is your older half-brother. Tachulu is your aunt. Dave Annoyed is your niece. Evi is your nephew. Ghostword is your nephew. Tachulu is your nephew. And everyone else is cousins. Other than that, though, for some reason, you don't appear to have any friends. To get through the day, of course, you pray to 5 different deities. I'm not reading them all. There is a lot of them. The most funny one, though, being Vesh, who is a skeletal male dwarf associated with lies, murder, and death. We're not going to read into that. You're a well-adjusted dwarf. Barbaderp recently thought the best way to get what we want out of life is to work for it, because he was annoyed dwelling upon having a drink without using a goblet, cup, or mug. We don't know why he did that. Barbaderp is susceptible to disease and very weak. Nothing else about him physically is describable. Barbaderp likes schist or cyst, nickel silver, milk opal, reindeer hoof, giant black bear tooth, Ramy fabric, warhammers, large gems, the sound of the silvers of granite, and the sight of the luxury of music. When possible, he prefers to consume mussel, muck roots, and hard wheat beer, though he absolutely detests mussels. Hold on. Carry the 1, carry the no, error, carry the 5. He prefers to consume mussels, but he absolutely detests mussels. That's a new one for me. Please bring me my favorite food. Here you go, sir. This is your favorite food. Oh God, what is this? Why would you bring this in front of me? Because you love it. I do love it, you sick bastard. Why do you prefer to consume what you hate? He has a great feel for social relationships, a great kinesthetic sense, a lot of willpower, a good intellect, and good creativity, and apparently a poor choice in food. He dreams of raising a family someday, and this dream was realized. I'm the youngest. Can't have friends in your fam. I also don't appear to have any friends. You're a pretty good dwarf. You're gonna die soon. He likes to eat meat and detests shells. It did not say he detests mussel shells. I get what you're saying. Maybe he only hates the shells. But very specifically, if he sees a mussel, he'll get a negative thought. He detests mussels. But he'll get a happy thought if he eats it? Like, that's weird. Be glad I didn't make you count base 45. What? I hate myself. He hates it when it's alive, likes it when it's dead. You can't count higher easily than 16, maybe. I can do the A, B, C, D, E. I can do that. How the hell would you do base 45? You couldn't even reasonably do maybe. Maybe if I hated myself, I could do base 36 by doing A to Z. But what do you do beyond A to Z? How do you do higher than base 36? I would still need 9 more. Is that just the symbols? Exclamation mark, at, pound, dollar, percentage? I don't even know what the hell that would be. There's your sub, by the way. I don't know why it took so long. You, of course, have the doink. If you resub enough, your Tonberry may evolve to a Tonberry Prince, then, of course, to the Tonberry King, where only then may you proclaim Doinkus. Yeah, I'm thinking he hates him if he sees him out in the wild, but he likes it on a plate. That's what I'm thinking, too. That was just a really weird way to say it. Good job, Twitch. You did your job. It took you long enough. Don't scare Twitch. It might go back to not doing its job. We might have a recount of TwitchCon or some nonsense. I'm gonna tell you the truth though. After also I'm gonna stream haggis bonbons. All right, hold on. Haggis is the meat inside the stomach, right? That's haggis. Following that so far, I think I've had it before. Bonbon is a sugary pastry that's a circle. So a haggis, I mean, a haggis and a bonbon might be the same thing, but a haggis bonbon would be haggis inside a sugary pastry? What is a haggis bonbon? Base 36 is the highest. Yeah, haggis is delicious. If it was base 30, then it would have been 13. Isn't haggis the dish of cooked stomach? Bonbon can also be savory. Really? I thought bonbon... What am I thinking of? I thought they were the little sweet circle things. Bonbon means good in French. So what? A Scotsman and a Frenchman get together and they decide what they love to eat, and that's just good. Hagbon. Bon hag. It sounds like a weird French insult. Bon hag. Bon hag. Welcome to the stream. It's basically just a haggis ball. That's what I was thinking. As I was like, that's just. All right, so like I said, we're gonna build the ramps for this using the diorite blocks. Then we'll try to see if we can't get the walls set up. Just gonna be more annoying than anything else, truth be told, but you know, whatever. I think at this point though, some of these should be on top of each other if I was doing proper radii, but because we need to make sure we have ramps up all the way for the hill effect, we're just going to be going in 1 and 2 in, even though I'm fairly certain mathematically this breaks down in terms of a circle and a square plane. At some point, the rounding up would mean that the diagonal would not move, for instance, or a square, the diagonal would not move. But then we'd have a straight wall occasionally, and I don't want to do that. So the hill on top of this, I'm willing to bet, is not going to match its mathematically determined plane where its walls are supposed to be. Just pouring that out for anyone who is wanting this to be perfect and following along. The math is going to be wrong. At some point, there's going to be a corner piece that's going to be rounded out or in, and I'm going to have it the opposite state when the walls come in. It's just going to happen. Diorite blocks can barely make it though, so that's good. We'll have to wait for the builder dwarves to do this. We have our dire builders down below smelting limonite into steel. Not into steel yet, just into iron. And we've been moving. Oh my god, that lungfish that shows up on the ceiling. Go away. I've been slowly moving things deeper into the base to be more protected. Though we do have a rather large amount of it that is still in the Bailey portion of this system. So that is in danger. Now, we discussed earlier doing a dwarf washing system. Oocyte, enormous copper corkscrew. Don't know where I got that from. Iron pipe section. I don't even think I told this thing to pump from the south. Where are you pumping from? I'm canceling that because I never actually paid attention enough to see where I was pumping from. Build machine. Stop. Caps lock is on. Build machine. Screw pump from the south. There we go. That'll get the water up to here. We will need to get the water up even higher. But if we get the water up, say, AZ level, and then dump the water occasionally on top of the brook, we should be able to make sure that any water goes away, particularly if it's draining down here, which it does not appear to be doing anymore anyways. So the excess water we take up is not going to go into the water, I believe. Does this take pressure when it is pressured positively from 3 directions? We'll find out. Last time we cheated a lot for our science. This time we'll do it legitly. We'll just figure out what happens. You're thinking of chocolates like Married with Children. A Frenchman and Scotsman get together and talk shit about the English. Man, I can't think of bonbons and anything else. I mean, the theory makes sense, probably over a drink talking about the English. Prepare your CDO for... Holy, that fortress. That's insanely large construction. I like it. It's how you dwarf. Yeah, so for a recount from earlier. Oh, I see we've hit the hour. I'll get the description in one more time. For the recount from earlier, we are trying to do a historical Mott and Bailey system. So I'm trying to do that in Dwarf Fortress. The southeastern larger circle is the Bailey. The northwestern circle is having to be built upon artificial hill first before we can do the castle part that is definitive of the Mott. For those of you who are watching this after I upload it to YouTube archive channel, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.